Hello, boys and girls. You know, every time I say that, I always think of the Crypt Keeper when he used to say, "Hello, boys and ghouls." Uh, and that's been a while. Uh, remember those days. Um, anyway, I enjoy doing these videos. I know I used to do them in the beginning a lot more. I hope that day comes soon again. Hope to find a couple sources and hope to make this a regular thing. Uh, I just love video games. I don't know if there ever be a day when I don't. Uh, I could foresee in years and years and years from now, maybe not liking some of the games, but you know, I'll probably still enjoy it as long as there's companies that are willing to make awesome games. And if not, I'll just make them myself. I really don't care. Um, but you know, that might never happen. I don't think it would really take a lot for me to not like the video game industry. Uh, as long as the games are fun, I guess it's probably safe to bet to say that I'll always love it. But you know, I think, to be honest, I don't even know what it would take for that to actually happen. Uh, but you know, uh, the truth of it is, I do like doing these. I do like looking up the latest game news. Especially love to talk about things that I love to talk about. Uh, you know, I wish I've been a gamer for decades now. I plan on being a gamer for a while. I noticed that it seems that people play games because they like them, and statistically saying 30s, I think it's like between 30 and 35 or something, is the biggest uh, crowd of gamers, as they will, people who buy video games, probably because they can afford them and, whatnot. And then it goes down, but still, I mean, there's a crowd of people who play them. And what's neat is, this is the topic for another video, as many other things are. But there's gamers in their 60s, even higher. That gamer group is the smallest, but it's neat to know that people of all ages enjoy these things. I find it very interesting. I know one time I went to a GameStop. I might have said this story before, but I'm always going to say it. And there was an older gentleman there getting some. I think it was a Call of Duty game, and hey, the guy behind the counter, you can't hate people for people just, you just assume, you're not trying to be rude, but he was saying about the grandkids and all, and you could hear the guys kind of quietly, no, this is for me, and I heard it out of the corner of my ear, or kind of picked up on the conversation. And sometimes I wish I would have stopped there to talk to him, and I was thinking, that's neat to know, that people just have been playing games for a while. Remember, I read a story about an older woman who played, I think her grandkids or something introduced her to video games in the 90s, and she just loved them. So it's neat to see. It's not something, a lot of times, generations that didn't grow up on video games don't really take an interest on them, but as you can see, sometimes people just take an interest to them. There's people like that I'd love to interview, actually. Find out where that lady is and give her an interview. And of course, as you can see, I'm getting off topic as I always do. But hopefully, not too. Everything works out the way I'm hoping it does. Not too long, distant future, I'll be able to put up more videos like Review Tech does. And the thing of it is, um, it does worry me a little bit that you know to be honest with you, it worries me a little bit that I don't want this to be my main thing, because all you have to do is to monetize my videos, and then I wouldn't have a way to make a living. So this isn't just going to be the sole thing for me. I'll have other avenues at one point, but it's just something I do because I love, and hopefully it grows into something more. Because I see the video game industry, and I see websites, and like I said, you know, it, I have to just be honest, say that I remember when the Xbox One X came out, and there was very little said about it, and it should be a big thing, big console. I mean, sure, it was a reiteration, but it should have been bigger than it was. It's exciting. A new console comes out. What's it gonna have? What's the graphics? What's the hardware? And it was just, I'm looking around, looking on the other websites, and it's just barely anything about it. I'm like, this is very big gaming news. And if you're one of those people that are kind of, it's like, well, then you don't really appreciate gaming for what it really is. When something big comes out, it should be a big deal. And I don't want that gamer byerism. I just want to be talking about what I love. One day I hope to be putting out, news about, excuse me, things that come out and everything as such. Uh, Phew. But anyway, that's I'd like to say on that topic. And like I said, it just seems like some kind of, I've read about uh, supposed rumors about, things that were taking monetary bets, or I should say monetary uh, things because of, them having the money and paying to upplay things about their. And it's a shame, but it's just the way the world works. And I don't want to be part of that. You know, I want to be the guy who brings all the great news. And okay, so there's, I'm not a PC gamer. Uh, you know, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't mean I hate PC games. I prefer consoles. They're easier to work with. They're harder to manipulate. Uh, you can do certain things with a PC you can't do with a console, and I just love the pure challenge of it. And I know the PC, gives you that too, but people find different ways to tinker with it, and just totally ruins the experience. Ruins really what the game was made for. And I don't particularly like that too much. So it's not that I'm boycotting PC at all. It's just I prefer consoles. Period. But with all that being said, and you've heard me if you've watched any of my videos talk about how awesome the Xbox controller is. I'm still not an Xbox fanboy. I'm a gamer. I don't care what its system it's on. It's just games. That's all I care about is just playing good games. Uh, but anyway, yeah. So long story short, I hope to, or getting off the topic. I always do. I just love talking about video games and the industry. Very love the industry and all. But one day I hope to be doing, hopefully not in the just too distant future, doing these videos like maybe like Review Tech does. But we'll see. It'd be easier. It'd be more fun to do something where I could cover all the topics, and unfortunately, a couple videos wouldn't be, um, or a small video about that probably wouldn't be enough. It would be it'd have to do with um, any of the other competitors per se that cover all gaming topics and stuff like that. Um, so, I mean that could make a quick video about it on the subjects, but I just want to be that guy who brings you all the awesome stuff and all the news, and we go from there. And hopefully people just see it for what it is, just some someone with a passion bringing them what they love and what they enjoy. Um, but I'm already wasted almost 10 minutes just blabbing away. But anyway, so here's our big. Let me sit up here because I like to be at attention. But here's our big news. I wish I would to tell you about Command and Conquer, but I'm gonna get to that second and tell you the little news because I wanna get the big thing out of the way just so someone decides if they just want to watch it for this reason they can. So as most of you probably know, or I should say some of you, Resident Evil is coming out on the what's it? Oh man, April 10th, I think it is. I think it's in April 10th. Anyway, it's going to be the remake, so a lot of you probably know that. If you're a big Resident Evil fan, you're probably looking forward to it like me. And I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I know there's a lot of Resident Evil fans out there, but I'm a big fan of it. Um, there are some games I haven't got around to playing, um, but those are usually the multiplayer games. But anyway, I wanted to say that I want to elaborate on some of the points. Resident Evil. Um, so this is going to be the Resident Evil 3 remake. Um, I got this video from Gaming Bolt. It was about like the 15 things you should know about Resident Evil 3. I wanted to take these points and A, tell you about them, and B, also elaborate on them. So I have here the first thing that you should notice about Resident Evil 3, and there are some, by the way, you're excited, obviously it won't spoil it too much if you watch the demos. There's a few demos on YouTube. I don't like to, I'm excited about games coming out, like Doom's coming out in about a week. I'm really excited about that. But for example, there's like a few videos on Doom, and I don't want to watch every single video because I don't want to spoil it. But this kind of gives you an idea if you do watch the YouTube video. I will elaborate on those things in the video, but I will also say it's like, obviously it looks like it's the Resident Evil 2 engine, but it doesn't spoil it terribly, but it should give you an idea what it is. I mean, most of you who've played the original Resident Evil 3, you have an idea of what you're, obviously what it is and what the game kind of should be, so you shouldn't really be spoiled. I'm sure most of you have played it by now or you just don't care. But the first thing you'll notice, it's an over-the-shoulder view. Let's see here, so I'm going to say that for later. It's an over-the-shoulder view. You notice that right away. That was the thing I've obviously noticed about Resident Evil 2, but I think too you have to, it's somewhat of a different game, so you couldn't have the, tank controls. I mean, it wouldn't feel so advanced, as you will. I personally like that view when it comes to shooters. Now, obviously, it's between the third person and the first person. I do like that third person view. Alright, that's the first thing you'll know, but most of you probably won't be surprised about that since you probably played Resident Evil 2 Remake and, you have an idea what to expect. Let's see here. I have, what did I write down? I'm sorry. I'll just put this here so I don't look so like I don't can, let's see. I have, the other thing is no selections. Okay. Oh, okay. So no selections. I should have put live selections. Anyway, if you remember the live selections, fight the monster, run from the monster, use the light on the clock tower. And by the way, I should have said this, but obviously it should come to no surprise that you shouldn't watch this video if you don't want any spoilers. So obviously, if that's If it shouldn't spoil it too much, to be honest, for what I'm telling you. But if you don't want even those small spoilers, you definitely should not watch this video. But I'm guessing if you are watching it, you probably figured it out. But like I said, there's small spoilers, but nothing major. And the reason I want to say this because I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil. But there's not gonna be no live selections. Um, so uh, we won't have those live selections anymore. I guess I'll get to that point a little bit later. And there's not going to be any mercenary mode. Um, Now, I don't know this, just a guess. It may never happen, but it could be a DLC. This mercenary mode, because the characters are already there. Nikolai, Carlos, a few others. Um, there is this, I'm getting to the next point. The Resistance, if you read about it, it's called Resident Evil Resistance or something. This is going to be the multiplayer mode, apparently. So this could totally cut out the mercenaries. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the mercenaries were a DLC. And it may never happen, but it would be a good idea. So if some of you have known that something, it was like Resistance, it was called, and we had one player trying to set up the traps, and the others was surviving. So hopefully. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think. Hopefully you'll enjoy that, but it'll be a new take. And I would hope to see that the Mercenaries as DLC, but well, it may never happen. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. Um, the Nemesis has a flamethrower now. I guess he's harder to avoid. Watching the videos, like I said, he's got that thing that he comes out of his hand, basically acts like a whip. He was throwing Jill around, and at one point when she ran, I know he quickly got in front of her. So it's interesting to see how he's evolved. It generally looks, I don't know, the same, but he's a little tweaked. Um, like I said, it's interesting that he has a flamethrower instead of a rocket launcher. Also, I thought it would have been interesting if he had like in the movie where he had a chain gun or something, but you know, we'll elaborate on that later, because something like, you know, I remember when they said about, I don't know if this will have anything to tie into it, but it was like Operation Raccoon City or something where he had a chain gun and then all of a sudden he ends up losing it, but whether that ties into it, I don't know. But I do remember hearing something about that. Um, Carlos, who, if you remember, she meets something later, he has an expanded story. Said that he has a greater presence, and that you have more time to play him, and he basically equals uh, basically like I have it here, presence that billing to Jill. So basically he's going to be like, like Leon and Claire, where like not just you're a playable character, not just if you remember, you got to play as Carlos for a little bit here and there, but I guess this time it's going to be a better, more, I don't know how to say it, but you're going to get to play as him more, and I guess it's going to be like they tried to make him more like, like the original games where you had two different people to play from, you know what I mean? And in 3, Carlos was just someone that you played a little bit here and there, like Ada was in the second one, you know. Now the player redesigns I have here. Um, the video had said that generally um, Jill looked not too far from her, her old self, and that the Nemesis didn't look too much different. And there's some truth to that, but they both have gotten upgrades. Um, she she actually looks a little more realistic. That I love that. And it looks like you're, just an everyday working woman. Um, and of course, the Nemesis looks a little redesigned. Like I said, you have to do a comparison to the two, but they did have some redesigns. The biggest one is Carlos. Apparently, he looks a lot different than what he, normally looked like, and it was kind of neat because once again, gives a real take on him. Um, the enemies have been redesigned. Um, I can't remember, like that worm supposedly comes down from the hole. If you remember that, you like get stuck in the sewer or something, it can eat Jill whole. And those things that are on the roof that have like hooks for hands, apparently they can shove something down Jill's throat. And I heard like they can, if you have to get an herb or something where she explodes into little babies or something, which sounds disgusting. So we'll be, I didn't see that, but we'll be sure some players will enjoy that. Make it look like it's all, nightmarish. But the city too has been expanded. Uh, the developers added more stuff. I should say, I guess the programmers put more stuff in there. And like I said, I saw you go on YouTube, you can see the videos, and the city looks a lot bigger. So you can explore it more. Also looks like there's more stuff. I saw that certain puns to Resident Evil 3, some of the stores. I think then I know Jill walked into a store with the radio playing, and if I remember, it was the same song that played at the ending of the second B scenario in the original. No matter who you played. Um, the One of the biggest things is the reloading tool isn't there. Uh, so you'll be able to just mix things like you used to. I do like that feature because I do like the idea of mixing things. 'Cause it gives you that as needed basis, or if you're someone who likes to challenge yourself with a pistol, you can do it. Or if you want some more firepower, instead of using it for pistol rounds, you can use it for shotgun rounds. So and that's what I love about it. It gives you options. Um, the One of the things that I have here, um, no particular order, but the new thing in Resident Evil 3 is actually two of them. The dodge, you can apparently smash the button and get some dodge away like the original, and like some kind of resistance when you hit the button prompt. And also, this time, if you do it at the right time, you have like a dodge mechanic. It'll allow you, this like this flash, and it'll allow you to actually counter an enemy. So it'll give you a small amount of time to be able to shoot at them when you do the dodge at the right time. Um, that's pretty cool. Um, the and I like that. I'm glad I watched this video because I picked up on this later. But apparently the knife has infinite durability, so it's not like Resident Evil 2 where you can only use it so many times. Um, which is kind of cool because it just plays into all the other Resident Evil games where you always had a knife. But the problem is the knife was barely useful, so no one really used it. So it became, I think they said, later on that it became like starting with the original remake, like a defense weapon that you could use, if you were caught. Um, but obviously, I guess playing into that earlier, if because you have a dodge or you have the option to dodge, you no longer need that, um, knife like you did in RE2. The biggest thing, not that it's a big deal, but the last thing that I was kind of playing into is that apparently the endings are going to be the same. That's why you don't have the live choices, and That's spoiler. I guess I don't know about you probably know. I should say really, you probably don't even care at this point because you probably played Resident Evil 3. But I do remember watching it, and usually Nikolai, in the choices that I would pick, Nikolai would always die. But if you pick other choices, Nikolai lives. I remember seeing that on a video on YouTube where he gets in the helicopter and he leaves, and it's like, darn, But um, I'm not sure, and it's funny is I'm not even sure that's the first time I've seen that ending. I don't know if I don't remember ever seeing that before. But anyhow, this time, whatever the ending is, obviously you'll probably have to play the game yourself. Um, I don't know what happens. I'm assuming he's going to die, but if whatever the ending is going to be, there's no choices, so you won't be able to you won't be able to change that whether he lives or not. That's why Capcom said there's no lot of choices, because the ending is going to be the end no matter what. Uh, so that's that, and it makes a lot of sense. If there's no choices, then it makes a lot of sense why you know it would be it would make it to that. Oh, excuse me. So that's my thoughts on Resident Evil. Um, if you want to click away, you can, but I'm going to elaborate on some other great news, and that is Command and Conquer, the original, is going to get a remaster. I think I mentioned that in another my past videos that it the remaster is going to include the original Command and Conquer, the expansions, and Red Alert, and those expansions. And I remember watching the video, and the guy said, "Hey, check back Monday." So I checked back just to see, out of curiosity, what what was there, and apparently um, there it was a big announcement or something. But they're coming out with you can pre-order it, you get a special edition where it's like $124, and it comes with a bunch of stuff. Normally, I don't get into that, but it's debatable. I'm actually considering it, even though it's for the PC, it comes with a bunch of neat stuff. And to me, if this is gonna like garner interest in my favorite series, then maybe I'll do it. If the company sees that people are willing to spend a lot of money, which I'm a huge Command and Conquer fan. There's plenty of people out there who are, so I'm sure they're just as excited as me. Unfortunately, for me, I'm not a big. I imagine I could probably run those games on this computer because Command and Conquer is such an old game. Probably wouldn't take much to run it, but I know you get like a Tiberium USB or something like that. I thought that was cool. I'm not. It's coming out in June. I can't remember. June 20th. It's coming out in June anyway, and I'm debating on actually pre-ordering it. We'll see. We'll actually see. But let's see. They're gonna at any time like Halo, if I remember. Because I remember with I guess when Halo, when they remastered it, you could look at the old graphics. At any time, they call it the Legacy or the Remaster. You can switch over and you can see the two of the. Um, I don't know. I heard something, but the two switch over to the two. I think. I think. I'm trying to think. Oh, I wanted to add too that here, unbeknownst to me, and I said there should be a bunch of unlockables too. That I think that I don't know. No, I don't think I said that in the last one because I didn't know. But apparently in this one you can, when you play the levels, you can unlock certain things that were edits or green screens from the original, which is really awesome. I'm, I'm really happy, excited to see that. Even more curious to see if it comes to consoles. That's what I'm more curious about more. Like I said, Normally I don't get into pre-ordering things that, you know, are maybe $10, $20 more than they're normally, but I might make an exception for this one because I really love Command and Conquer, and you know, if I could, if that money is going to persuade them to make more games, then I'll do it. Um, so that's very exciting news for me, and probably for a lot of other Command and Conquer fans out there. So I'm very, very excited about that. Even though I may not look it, I was tired for some reason. These videos make me tired. Um, so let's see. I think that's it on the Command and Conquer. Besides, you know, new game coming out, remaster. Like I said, you can switch over. Pre-order, of course, you can order the regular version. Uh, but you got a bunch of cool stuff. You got the get the what is it? The collector's edition or whatever. Um, Also, let's see here. Um, Under my other uh, things that I have here, there is a at least one Final Fantasy VII remake. I'm sure some of you are very excited about that, um, but it comes out literally like 3 days after Resident Evil 3. The cool thing, at least for me, is it's more of an action RPG uh, than turn-based. I'm sure some people might be a little disappointed about that, but for me it's good news, especially after watching what I did before with another series that I loved that went in a different direction. And all I can say on Final Fantasy note is that I watched it. I thought it looked good. Um, I guess it stays true to the original. Honestly, I wish I was a Final Fantasy fan to tell you that more about it, and I honestly don't know, and I'm very sorry. But all I know is it looks pretty good, and it is a PS4 exclusive. So um, I maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Final Fantasy came out on other systems before. So, but it's a PS4 exclusive. Uh, but after the news about Baldur's Gate, and some of you are a what's it called? What's the name of it? Yeah, Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3. Um, if I remember, unless I'm thinking of the off because it was, I can't think of it, but I thought Baldur's Gate was the second series in the Baldur's Gate series. If I remember, if someone wants to comment on the below, was the action RPG series. And when this Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out, it's going to be turn-based. I understand the original. I don't know if it was because I was thinking there was a name and then Baldur's Gate was the subtitle, but I understand the original games that were uh, before Baldur's Gate subtitle were action RPGs. So if this is just following suit, then it shouldn't come as a surprise. I just thought, like I said, the Baldur's Gate series, um, the part that I was thinking of the action RPG. So I totally could just be complaining about nothing. But I thought that was a disappointment. Like I said, if I'm mistaken and it wasn't that, it was the original Baldur's Gate, well then it would make sense why it's turn-based. Um, I'm sure some of you've heard about the Half-Life remake. I watched that on GameSpot. I thought that was pretty cool. But I remember, as some of you know, a new Half-Life game is being released and it's going to be on VR. So, I mean, that's great for VR fans. Maybe that's good news for us console fans and anyone else because they might, release another game. But personally, I mean, I have to be honest. I don't think that it's a good idea releasing it on VR unless, I mean, obviously it's going to be made for VR, but such a landmark series and people have been waiting for, you know, a sequel so long, it almost seems like you should give them one instead of putting it on VR. And if it is ported over, it's not going to feel so original. But we'll see what happens. I mean, for Half-Life fans, That's something. Gives you a reason to get VR. I've got nothing against it. I wouldn't mind having it. Just I spend what money I do have on games because I love the games more. Uh, but let me know what you think. I mean, another game. You can't exactly go wrong with that. Uh, but well, I hope you have a nice day. Like I said, a lot of great news. I hope some of you play these games. I'm really looking forward to Doom. Um, of course, I'm looking for. What's funny is I'm looking forward to Command and Conquer, even though I really don't play it. I mean, I could still play the original on my PS3, so I'm not really at a loss. But I would love for it to come out on the consoles. So, and heck, I might even be crazy enough to get collector's editions on both platforms. But this is all good news. I mean, I am looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII remake. I think it's awesome that Half-Life's coming out with a new game, even if it is for VR. It's going to be a big thing for Half-Life fans. I know there's a lot of people who love Half-Life, so I'm sure it's a very big deal to them, and I'm happy for them. I would love to play it, honestly, but I'm looking forward to the next one, and hopefully it makes consoles if it ever happens. But at least Valve has plenty to work with. So I mean, a lot of with Steam and having games, not like they need to do anything soon, but still, I mean, something good like that is something good, and you got fans who want to support you, and that's a great thing. It's a great thing. All right, well, um, have a nice day, evening. Always great comment. I would love people to. I don't even care about so much about the rates and the comment or the descriptions as I do the comments. Just want to hear what your thoughts are. That's what I really care about, honestly. But I hope you enjoyed this video if you've watched it, and I hope you enjoy playing all the following games, especially Resident Evil 3. Uh, I'm sure a lot of you are like me and you're looking forward to Doom as well. So there'll be a lot of good gaming in the next couple months because we figured Doom, and then also I know Animal Crossings is coming out. If it's not out yet, I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. But there's a lot of good games coming out these next couple months, so I look forward to it all. Like I said, rate, comment, and subscribe. Take care and be safe.